Of time before a lawsuit was filed against Oregon's Measure 114. That's the gun restriction bill that voters approved earlier this month. Well, now that time and that lawsuit have arrived. Late Friday, the Oregon Firearms Federation, the Sherman County Sheriff, and a Marion County gun store owner all filed lawsuit against Governor Kate Brown and State Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum. They want a judge to block the measure based on their view that it violates the Second Amendment. Clean and simple. But they also say if the judge does not agree the entire measure is unconstitutional, then they want the high-capacity magazine portion to be thrown out. 114 bans high-capacity magazines and creates a new permitting process to buy a gun, including safety training, a background check, and a fee. It is set to take effect in just 2.5 weeks, so time is of the essence. It's not clear when a judge would rule on this lawsuit, but we do expect it to be soon, before the law takes effect. In the suit, the plaintiffs claim millions of law-abiding Americans now own guns with magazines that hold more than 10 rounds, calling them standard issue, not high capacity, and writing, banning magazines over 10 rounds is no more likely to reduce criminal abuse of guns than banning high horsepower engines is likely to reduce criminal abuse of automobiles. And the only thing the ban contained in 114 ensures is that a criminal unlawfully carrying a firearm with a magazine over 10 rounds will have a potentially devastating advantage over his law-abiding victim. That magazine restriction is also part of 114 is being challenged as unconstitutional in California in a totally different federal lawsuit that's before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The Ninth Circuit has jurisdiction over Oregon, so if they rule it unconstitutional there, that would effectively slash that part of 114 here as well. But this new lawsuit also claims that 114 violates part of the Oregon Constitution, and it has nothing to do with magazine capacity. Here it is. It's Article 11, Section 15, which says, when the Legislative Assembly or any state agency requires any local government to establish a new program or provide an increased level of service for an existing program, the state of Oregon shall appropriate and allocate to the local government money sufficient to pay the ongoing usual and reasonable costs of performing the mandated service or activity. Here's a translation of all that. If you pass a new statewide law and it costs local government money to make it happen, then the state should pay for it. Their argument here focuses on the permitting process and the safety training required by that new law. They say that local police and sheriff's departments would have to hire more people to run the safety classes, and that the state should pay for that. So, those are the two issues that opponents are arguing in front of the judge. They want the bill ruled invalid because it does not require state payments to local governments and that magazine capacity issue. Over the weekend, by the way, we caught up with the Reverend Mark Knutson with Lift Every Voice Oregon. That's the group behind the ballot measure. He disputes this lawsuit's claim that 114 infringes on the constitutional rights of Oregonians, especially when it comes to the high-capacity magazines.
Those who already have them, it already says that they would keep them. They could use them on their property or at shooting ranges. So nobody's taking away anybody's guns or their magazine. This is about public safety, safe schools, safe communities, and it's been proven to save lives.
He says that when they drafted Measure 114, the Interfaith Coalition worked with gun owners and hunters and law enforcement. But in the meantime, we're back to where we were last week, waiting. We're no longer waiting for a lawsuit, of course, it's here, but now we're waiting on the judge's ruling, both on this suit challenging the entirety of 114 and on that federal lawsuit out of California that could gut the high-capacity magazine portion of the measure. We know so many of you are passionate about this on one side or the other. We welcome comments from all sides. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this recent lawsuit here in Oregon. Send us an email to thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.